I think, like I said before, like 10 years ago, that's like the base standard for
Foundation.
foundation for a
Right.
lot of people, and that's security.
Mhm.
Like when you're financially secure, you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. I don't have to worry about, where my food is going to come from. I don't have to worry about where I'm asleep at night. You know what I'm saying? And since I have those, I can worry about myself. You know what I'm saying? I can worry about my mental health. I can
Right.
worry about my business and how it helps and affects other people. But if I only had to worry about money, then a lot of that stuff gets pushed to the side. So
Absolutely.
once that is secured, I feel like that's when people's values can change. But it really depends on the person, because if all you care about is money, period, then all you ever are going to care about is money. You're not going to care about the people. You're not going to care about the
people
quality
around you, the loved ones.
You're not going to care about nothing but just making money. And that's what
And that's dangerous.
And that's dangerous. And that's what your vision on value is. And you will value every other person you see
based on the lack of or the amount of money that they have. Welcome back to another episode of Black Fly on the Wall. I have my boy Slim, my boy Dev Real, and today we're talking about the misconceptions of a high value man. So this term high value has been thrown around a lot within the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Discussing value, how man values themselves, how they see how others value, and how those roles or definitions of value pertains to themselves and how they carry that throughout their daily basis, on a daily basis. And so first question, I want to start off with, how do you define value?
How do I value as a man, or value is in general?
Personally,
personally, I see it as external and internal.
Okay.
Because if we're talking about in people, of course you have to find a value in yourself. It has to start with you. Of course, you're the base.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it from the outside, if no one puts value in something, it really doesn't have any value.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's that external component of valuing anything in this world. Just like with diamonds are just stones. You know what I'm saying? Rocks, pretty rocks. But people put value in that, which raises value. Just like with gold and everything else. The housing market, stocks. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to people, we have to look at it from the internal and the external. We have to find value in ourselves, because that's going to give us our confidence, and then we have to exude that confidence, and hopefully other people receive that as well.
I like that. Dev, how do you relate value to you?
Well, I look at value as the measure of regard that someone or something is given, or is subscribed to. So, like just as Slim said, is internal, is external, and values could be positive, values could be negative. And it kind of even refers back to the previous episode you had on "As a Man Thinketh, So Is He." Those values are going to determine what you bring in, and what you bring in is going to determine how you think, and how you think is going to determine how you act. So as a man, we're talking about value. We have to make sure we have the right values so that we have the right thoughts and the right actions.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like we start talking about high value, and so that means that when you classify something as high, that means something has to be low.
Right.
And so that means that low value men also are existing in this world today. And so, but I think high value is all about how we perform a self-assessment of ourselves, and we place ourselves on that scale.
Right.
But I think it's a challenge to start creating a paradigm behind what we're just going to flatly and blankly say, this is high value.
Yeah.
Right. I think men have experiences, or they go through ups and downs of whenever they're on top, whenever they need assistance, then they back on top. So I think it's a challenge in a psychological way to now say that, okay, I was high value last year, but now I'm low value now. And so, but you can't have one without the other, right?
There has to be balance.
There has to be balance. How would you all say that your value, how you value yourself, or how you define value, has changed over the last 10 years?
10 years, that's a decade.
Yes.
Wow. 2012, where was I?
coming out of school,
just
coming
getting out of college,
yep.
just starting a job. So I say like 10 years ago, I'm 34 now, 24. My idea of a high valued individual period was you could provide. You could provide for yourself and you could provide for others. And that was just like the line. I have some money. I can provide for myself. I ain't starving. I can buy stuff when I need it. But as I matured and got older, that was just a small component of it. Now it's like, can I be mentally there?
There you
go. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Can
I be available to people? Can I practice self-assessment? Can I find peace?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
isn't it funny how like as we age, we start to look at things, we start to remove intangible things and place. And we take away the tangibles and we start adding intangibles. Whereas high value may have been, I want a 10-bedroom house,
right.
and now high value is I want peace.
Yeah,
I used to want a Lamborghini, and now I want freedom financially. It's like as we matured, the more our value increases intrinsically, and I think that is what's key is that how we intrinsically self-assess, provide these self-assessments, is how we consistently define and redefine ourselves and how we value ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked earlier, Dav, just about on and off air about ego. How do you feel ego plays a role in how we value self?
Well, first, let me say, I'm trying to learn how to have peace in the Lambo.
There you go.
All right. Okay,
there you go.
So,
that has not changed. Do not get it confused.
No, but ego in regards to. I'm sorry, ask the question again. Ego in regards.
So, like, how does ego play in your self-assessment of high value?
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's kind of going back to your previous episode about being humble. You know, if your ego is too big, it will not allow you to provide a honest self-assessment, and
that's
and then it won't allow you to be humble. So it's just like you're a super headstrong individual. You're not really concerned about what other people are saying, even in regards to things that can help you better you, that can help bring that peace that we're talking about. Because some things are unnecessary in life at the end of the day. You know, there's some things that you need to have, some things that'll be nice to have, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I think that's one of the things that gets caught up in this high value male conversation, because it makes the conversation combative, you know, and if you're going to be a high value man, you have to realize the battles that you need to fight and the battles you don't have to worry about.
That's about being, that's part about being humble, right?
Right.
So it's like really like how, you know, I think we have to go through this redefining of value, period. And that understand that value is a spectrum and understand that how one man defines value for himself may be differently for you.
Exactly.
So like for myself, like I work in a hospital in a surgical trauma ICU. So I see patients 2 days after they've been shot 5-6 times, laid up, intubated, tube down their throat. That man laying on that bed has different values than he probably did 2 or 3 days ago.
Exactly.
So life experiences alter your perception of the reality that you're living in, and it shifts how you view and the things that you value. You hear your grandma just wants you to come and call her, give her a hug, stop in on her, check in on her. Those are the things she values. She valued things differently 60 years ago, right?
Right. But yeah, I was gonna say, to add what you were saying, like just your situation at the time can change what you value.
Absolutely.
Because if today I got money in my pocket, I'm full, I'm eating, and then tomorrow I'm homeless, life changes so quickly.
Tomorrow you now value food, shelter, right?
And stability.
That's what you value.
Exactly.
And so that leads to the conversation of comfortability, right? So like values change and that changes, they shift as the more comfortable you become. So your family is healthy, you're healthy, you got money in your pocket, you're going on vacations. Okay, now you may value things in your creative space because you now have the flexibility within your time and your finances. Versus if you're trying to climb a ladder and scale up, your value now is to grind and stand connected to your purpose and your desire. So like things shift over time. What role do you think money plays in high value?
I think like I said before, like 10 years ago, that's like the base the base standard,
foundation
for
right.
a lot of people, and that's security. Like when you're financially secure, you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. I don't have to worry about, you know, where my food is going to come from. I don't have to worry about where I'm asleep at night. You know what I'm saying? And since I have those, I can worry about myself. You know what I'm saying? I can worry about my mental health. I can
right.
worry about my business and how it helps and affects other people. But if I only had to worry about money, then a lot of that stuff gets pushed to the side. So
Absolutely.
Once that is secured, I feel like that's when people's values can change. But it really depends on the person, because if all you care about is money, period, then all you ever are going to care about is money. You're not going to care about the people. You're not going to care about the
people
quality,
around you, the loved ones.
You're not going to care about nothing but just making money. And that's what...
And that's dangerous.
And that's dangerous. And that's what your vision on value is. And you will value every other person you see
based on the lack of or the amount of money that they have.
Exactly.
Right. And not really looking at the soul of the person that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Especially working in the financial field.
Yeah.
How do you see how people value themselves based on the amount of money they have or do not have?
Yeah. So what'll happen is, I mean, we sort of have a requirement of, depending on the age, like if you're 65, you know, we would like to have, you know, 250,000 at least coming in with. But I just work with a couple of clients there in their early 40s. So they, you know, don't have a lot, you know, saved there right now. But the thing is, they still got 30 years of time. Right. So they might not have done everything right here, or might they just got to a level where they can start saving, where they can start investing, right? And so I gave them one layer to the plan, you know, and then once we accomplish step one, now we can go to step two, you know. And so sometimes people feel like because they're not at that 250, you know, we have some clients come in, they have 2 million, they have 1.5. Oh, we're not there yet. It don't matter. Let's see where you are right now. Let's assess the situation to find out what we can do right now to make it better, so you can increase and go to the next step. So,
nice. I think that's key too. Yeah. Kind of looking at where you are and kind of looking at where you want to be.
Right. And I think that happens too. I would say it's too, as far as like young men, you know, in regards to money, we think that we have to have, not even saying a millionaire, not even saying necessarily 6 figures per se, but like it's got to make mathematical sense for us to be able to progress forward in life. Right. And one thing you realize that in business and even relationships, you start where you're at, and you reach out and you get favor, you ask for favors, you get loans, whatever you got to get. You start from the ground up and you build as you go, and you realize that your core values remain the same. Absolutely. And we're talking about money, right? Absolutely. So it depends on how you value money too, because if you only value the money, then we're on that love of money root all evil type move, right? But if you value richest man in Babylon, if you learn the value of money, see, because you know, high value man is a man of means and influence, right? So when you understand the value of the dollar, now you understand your means are not just for you.
Like you realize that you start looking at money differently whenever you say money is a slave for me. Like money works for me, I don't work for it.
Right.
And so you're often looking at ways to deploy your funds in order for you to make more funds.
Right.
And so you start to look at money as a means of exchange. Right. Money is only as valuable as you spend it. Right. So like money in the bank isn't no good. Right. It's good whenever you can pay your health insurance. You pay your medical bills. You can pay for your car payment. You can buy a house. You can send your grandkids to school. Like money, you have to actually spend money in order for it to be valuable to you.
And people can value that differently.
Yep.
Like $100 to me might be different than $100 to you. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how much value you put in that.
And I think you should, and I think that's what, and I like what you said before, is that, and I think that's critical to how men assess money and how money correlates with themselves, is because you shouldn't always look at the amount of money. You should be looking at how money is working for that individual in that particular setting.
Exactly.
And kind of going from there. One of my questions is, does how others value you have an effect on how you value yourself? How your mother, your father, your siblings, your business associates, wife?
Absolutely. We was just talking off camera about how a lot of people will say, I don't care what people think about me.
That's not true.
And you should. You should, to an extent.
Yeah,
you should care what people think about you. Because how they think about you is how they talk about you to other people, how they treat you, how they value you. And you're not on this planet alone.
Right.
You're going to meet other people. You're always in front of other people and presenting yourself to other people. So,
and two, how people perceive you is not magic. You're letting off a certain aura, a certain energy.
Yeah.
I always say, whenever you meet people, when you interact with people, they're downloading your energy that you're putting off. So you have to be careful with the words that you say and how you say them, because they're downloading that. You have to be careful how you treat people. People are downloading that. And so if all the people that you interacted with open themselves up to see what they downloaded from you, would you be happy with the downloads that they have?
And everybody can't be wrong.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like that's like
they're not all getting together and scheming against you.
Exactly.
And saying Slim is a bad person.
Right.
You have to have that self-assessment and that accountability to say, dang, was I really coming off as rude or arrogant?
Exactly.
Go to your confidants that's in your life, your friends, your brothers.
It's gonna be real with you.
And say, yo, like, be honest. Like, do I let off a confident or arrogant, overconfident or arrogant aura? And they'd be like, hey, bro, sometimes you need to check yourself in these arenas, right? And improve in these areas. And I think that's critical, right? Self-assessments, accountability, checking yourself, unpacking your own baggage, and seeing how you can elevate yourself to another level is key. How do you feel like, Dav, your adolescent experiences affect how you see value? Growing up, house with your parents.
Yeah.
Your experiences at home, and now as an adult man, how would you say that those things affect how you see value?
Well, I mean, my dad's a hard worker, military man from the country. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a bad combo right there.
Yeah, it's real tough. You know what I mean? So I thought I was in the service when I was about 5. You know what I mean? But no, dad's a hard worker, taking care of things, and mom took care of the house. She would work, here and there, putting her hands to skill stuff. Now, my mom is a real mother. You know what I'm saying? So that's was instilled in me. Just being a hard worker. Just making it happen.
So you downloaded those experiences.
Downloaded experiences, and today, as I'm an older man, I just want to be. I'm always about purpose, and I think that's really got to be the highest value. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? So, being about purpose and influencing people in the right way. And so that's what I really live to do. Is what kind of impact am I leaving on people? Because you don't want you don't want to mess anybody up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, in regards to their future, their life, or whatever. So
it's
just being purposeful.
legacy.
Yeah, and legacy too.
Is key.
And that's part of the reason why I do finance too, about legacy. Because,
Right.
I think also too that, leaving money behind, resources behind for the next generation is the key to that.
Right, yeah, we just dropped an episode called Generating Generational Wealth. And it's about the overall concept of us redefining how we see wealth, just the same way we're having this conversation now about how we redefine how we see value. And taking those redefinitions, how we have redefined those definitions and applying them to our lives. And I think that's critical in seeing change. Like even me personally, like I've started to change how I use money. And so like even yesterday I was like, man, I saw some Fear of God. I was like, man, I need that.
I feel you.
I was like, I need that. They had it in the store too. I was like,
They had it in the store?
They had it in the store, man. I said, gracious. I always got to get it when it drop online. But I said, you know what? I'm trying to hit a certain goal.
Yep.
I'm trying to make changes in my financial landscape that I have. So I said, I had to do things differently. So I didn't succumb to those wants and wishes and started staying on principle.
Right, but you had the money though.
I had the money to do it.
So with a younger you, you're like, oh, I got the money in the bank. I'm just going to go ahead and get it.
Or just getting it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Put it on credit, whatever it may be. I'm going to get it. No, because that's how I think man should see value, is that I no longer am conforming to my emotional needs. I'm conforming to my spirit needs. Right, my spirit is like, I've had these conversations with myself, and I've came to the conclusion with myself that I need to cut back or scale back or be kinder or do community service, do more community engagement. I need to give more. I want to, like, if you want to say like 2023, I want to give away 5 photo shoot sessions, and then you say, okay, I want to give away 5 free financial literacy courses or classes. Like those are things that you stand on as a man, and you keep your word to yourself. So I think value, it has to be redefined, and we have to be retaught how we see value. Unfortunately, I think value has a large piece when it comes down to finances, because us as a community as a whole, some of us are doing well, the Jay-Z's, the Oprahs, those are some of those times. Sometimes those people are anomalies. But when we look at ourselves outside of rap, sports,
Mhm,
and other
mhm,
arenas,
mhm.
we have to look at, okay, how do we manage money and how do we manage wealth?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like our friends on the other side that we grew up with
Mhm.
or at school, their parents were millionaires, but you may have seen them show up in some Dockers,
Mhm.
some Sperry's,
Yeah, yeah,
and a T-shirt.
yeah, yeah.
They just saw value
different.
differently, and
Mhm.
so I think financial literacy is a large part in how we value ourselves.
Mhm,
Like us, I hang around these individuals at work. They don't talk about the same things that we discuss.
mhm.
They don't say some of the things that we say when it comes down to money and the type of things that we want. Even though I know that the type of things that we do, as far as how we dress, carry ourselves, the things that we do as a part of our culture, I think we have to figure out how we can maintain culture,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
maintain the things that we want and wish to have by
Mhm.
also redefining
Yeah.
how we value those things.
I would say another part to that is we talk about patience on the previous episode, but that long suffering is a part of just being a man.
Absolutely.
Like, because
Right.
when you're a man, you providing. You're not only providing for yourself. You
Right,
providing. You got nieces, nephews.
Mhm.
You got little cousins. You got sisters. You know what I mean? And so, even as single men, we should be in those arenas giving.
Absolutely.
You know, like just simple. I was teaching my nephew how to catch a football the other day. Like
Okay.
he just would not catch the ball. Like,
Right.
man, put your hands like this and catch that ball.
But
You know,
he'll never forget that.
never gonna forget that.
He'll never
Like,
forget that.
gonna
Oh,
catch that
yo,
ball.
like, my big cousin taught me how to catch a
Yeah,
football.
yeah,
And you'll never know, like the seed that you planted in his subconscious, you'll never know where that takes him.
right.
Exactly.
Like he could be in the NFL one day
Could be.
and say that, hey, my first time I caught a ball
Yeah.
was, you know how many people that made it to the NBA and they didn't start playing basketball until 7th, 8th
Yeah,
grade?
yeah.
You know, like things just manifest themselves
Mhm.
into what they naturally grow into is divine intervention.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, a lot of times we're on the right course at the right time.
Mhm,
It's just that we don't always perceive it that way because it's not always painted
mhm,
in the
mhm.
perception that we want it to be.
Right.
And so we have to always maintain like an open mindset when it comes down to value, an open mindset when it comes down to how we judge others, not passing judgment,
Mhm.
but always seeing things from another different perspective. And never knowing where you may be in 5, 10, 15 years where you will
Exactly.
want that same grace and that same empathy. So
Yeah.
I believe that the misconceptions of high value man is something that will leave the listeners with, how do I question value? How do I value myself? And how can I implement some of these things to shift
Mhm.
how my friends, my family, and others
Right.
around me see value?
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's just people will have to get their minds around that value changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not solid. It's fluid.
Like you said, it's just like the stock market.
Right.
You may have a stock of a share of Apple that's 115 today, that could be 135 tomorrow, it can be $100 a
Right.
week from now. But how you saw the investment in that company is about your principle.
Mm-hmm.
You stand on that principle.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. It's just like a stock, right? Our value goes up, our value goes down, but we have the grace and the empathy to be able to say it's okay that it does that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Misconceptions of a high value man. Amazing conversation.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah.
Good one. All right.
I think that I want this, I like this, no, I love this. The feeling, I'm lovesick, can't help this, so selfish. You make me weak, oh yeah, yeah. Any day of the week, oh yeah, yeah. Heartbeat on repeat, oh yeah. Goes on and on and on and on. You make me weak, oh yeah, yeah. Any day of the week, oh yeah, yeah.